And if you don't mind, Mr. Phillip, you say a prayer for us, sir?
Yes. Let us pray. Dear Father God, we thank you for this day, all your many blessings. Thank you for this spring-like day we've enjoyed. Pray that you will be with each person here as well as those that are unable to attend. Help us to conduct our county's business. And Father God, we pray that you will be with the Barron family in their time of grief. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please join me in a pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item up is to discuss the litter grant contract, which is a non-matching grant for $44,200. Ms. Carmen, this is our annual, every year grant, correct? If it please the commission, we'll place that on the agenda. Okay, so next item is to discuss letter of agreement with Tennessee Opioid Abatement Council, which is for $93,985.92. Mayor, would you like to add anything to that, or just add to the agenda?
That's just our normal contract I have to sign before they'll send the funds down,
Yes, sir.
or sign them.
So please, the commission will place that on the agenda.
Please, on the agenda.
Okay, item number 5, discuss audit committee. Now, as a reminder of how our audit committee is set up, our audit committee is set up with the chairman of the county commission, the chairman of the purchase and finance committee, and the chairman of the budget committee. It also has 2 commissioners on it and 2 members who are citizens at large. Perry Zane Massengale and, we have 1 citizen at large, we have 3 commissioners on it. Perry Zane Massengale is on there, Mark Cashman, Philip Dunn, and Tommy Ballard. We need to replace for the unexpired term of Mr. Ballard, because we have an audit committee meeting coming up. I've had my exit with the state, and so that will soon be coming up for the audit committee to do their part, and then it will be presented to the county commission. With that being said, the commission is who actually appoints this position. If I have a commissioner who wishes to fill that position, then that will be fine. If not, I will be happy to take ideas of a citizen that they wish to see on there in that position. So I will kind of open the floor up for this time. The reason I'm doing it this way is so that Ms. Carmen can get the information to Ms. Barron for an actual resolution. So do I have a commissioner who would wish to serve on that? Seeing none. Sir. Leo? Okay. All right. Do we have any other commissioner who wishes to serve on it? Do we have any other commissioner who wishes to recommend someone from the general public, from the citizen at large? Seeing none, Ms. Carmen, will you please place on the agenda the appointment for the unexpired term of Tommy Ballard for Leo Stevens, and we will have that on the agenda. Okay. Item number 6, discuss equipment purchase for Highway Department, Rick Wilkie, Road Supervisor. I am going just a little bit up or down, okay? Because I don't have the best hearing in the world some days. $412,446 is what I think I heard. Was that correct, sir?
That's correct. That's for 3 pieces.
Rick, do you want to add anything to that, or we're just going to have a presentation of the actual paperwork next week? It's for paving equipment, 3 pieces of paving equipment, correct, sir?
Yes.
Then please, the commission, we'll place that on, and it'll be in your packets, some information. Okay? Item number 7, discuss disaster preparedness reimbursement.
Chairman.
Sir.
Are we putting in here where this money is coming from, official, Mr. Allen, and I?
Yes, you all will work that out with Ralph, Rick, and Mr. Vincent will work that out. It had been mentioned, but we need to double check our figures and make certain where we're at that point. The area was TDA impact funds, but we'll have to double check that. So before it goes in there, they'll have to double check it. Discuss disaster preparedness reimbursement from our EMA director. In your packet, you saw there was, or on your desk one, you saw there was some information One of them is for $4,797.98. That is actual reimbursement that we will need to vote on separately from the other requests. So we will have one item that is for reimbursement. Ralph, did you determine where that reimbursement was going to come from?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we have discussed, the ones that were at his storm meeting, we've discussed as much as we could. We would like to see that come out of TVA impact.
All right, TVA impact.
For both of those, yes, sir.
All right, for both those, we'll place it on the agenda if it pleases the commission to reimburse $47.97.98. Okay, the other thing is for $12,107.95. That is for the materials, or for the items that needed, saws, generators, and a trailer for actually being able to transport those to your warming centers, your emergency centers, that may be a possibility of losing power, and this will have more of our backup system for our EMA to be able to help the public in that situation. Brad, did I miss anything on that? If it pleases the commission, we'd like to place that on the agenda and then be TVA as well.
On the agenda.
All right. Next item is discuss planned maintenance agreement. W.J. O'Neill Company, an amount of $2,025.49 a year. Mayor, this is concerning HVAC, maintenance throughout the year, correct?
Yes.
In which buildings?
Boiler maintenance for this building and the courthouse.
This building and the courthouse. Ms. Carmen, what is that you're taking away from that?
I think it's just the courthouse, right?
The packet says just the courthouse.
No,
What you told me today.
no.
Okay, I'm wrong.
March and June chiller maintenance, condenser coil cleaning in March, and preventive maintenance on the boiler in September. Is what these are for. One boiler, one chiller. And this is for the courthouse, Ms. Carmen. All right, this will be for the courthouse, will be to come out of the maintenance line for the courthouse. If it pleases the commission, we'll place this on the agenda with the approval of our mayor, who's over the buildings. Is that correct, sir? You okay with this?
Place it on the agenda.
Okay, Ralph, anybody sign up? While we're going through that, we have a couple of items that need to be added to the agenda. We have an EMA turnout gear grant, which is for $96,000. $96,252, and it's a non-matching grant. This is a grant that Brad goes for every year, which will give us the opportunity to buy more turnout gear. Please, the commission will place that on the agenda. Next item is, we're back to the football field. Daktronics report and VEC both have more paperwork that we have to run through the commission. It does not change anything. We're just dotting i's and crossing t's, making all the accountants and all the lawyers happy with everything. So if it place commission, I'd like to place both of those items on the agenda. Okay. Let's see. Opioid committee met earlier and had a wonderful meeting. They met with the individuals who actually are using the opioid money that was put out before in a grant form, and they explained to our chairman how they spent that money into the committee, how that money was spent, and I came to that meeting, and it was very rewarding to hear how they're doing and what they're doing, and the progress and how people were helped with those items. But with that being said, they also have money to spend tonight. That they presented tonight. If it pleases the commission, we'll place it on the agenda. In your packet, you will actually get a complete form that where the chairman and his group put together how much money goes to who and which form payment it is out of which account, because as you know, there's more than one opioid account. So if it pleases the commission, we'll place that on the agenda. All right, we'll put that on the agenda. Any commissioner have anything else to add to the agenda? Does Ralph have anything to add, Ms. Carmen, or Mayor Vincent, anything to add to the agenda? Nothing else? Sir, go ahead.
Well, I was going to, during my comment time, ask you how to handle this. I'm kind of excited about this. As As y'all know, I started working with TWRA over a year ago, to prepare us a bass tournament location and up at Highway 30 at the bridge. If you remember, I got a lease from TDOT to use the land around the bridge and under it for parking. And we have now built a new boat ramp. It's 30 feet wide. It goes out the river 30 feet past low water. High water, it'll go out 50-something feet. So it's ready for boats. We cleared the lot completely, with my maintenance guys and Rick Wilkie. Rick helped me a lot moving dirt that was gifted to us from Food City, if you remember. So we now have about 3 acres or better, level, compacted, and TWRA came in and put down a wonderful layer of gravel, big 1.5-inch rock, 2-inch in soft places. We compacted with sheet foot. Now then we came back to a layer of parking lot gravel. It's really good looking. They rip-wrapped the banks, mowed, cleaned all that up. I've had the TWRA is excited about this. They're coming in March to put in a boat ramp, and they're putting in with those big concrete piers at the edge of the river, which they feel like will stabilize because of the current. So all that's done. Every bit of it's been paid for except the part that Rick and I done has been paid for by TWRA. Quite a chunk of money, about $250,000, and that's going to be considered phase 1. They're coming back to start next spring to do phase 2, and I'm now in negotiation with TDOT to give me 2 more acres. I'm in negotiation with TVA, and I'm actually talking to TDOT about abandoning the old Highway 30. And if they will, TWRA said they'd tear that old ferry ramp out and put us a 3-boat ramp. What they're trying to do, we're trying to build it up to where it'll handle 300 to 400 boats in a tournament. Guys, it looks like we're going to make that happen. TWRA has told me they want to use that location for walleye tournaments. So we're getting us a really fine marina built. So far, we've not spent a penny. I had our bass group, our committee on the bass tournaments up there, and they absolutely love it. They're excited because of the deep water. The one thing I like being able to hold tournaments up there is I need to put 4 power poles in with those LED floodlights because they start ramping boats before daylight. Sometimes it's dark 30 or whatever when they come in. Plus we've got to have security cameras, which Sheriff said he'd put those up and handle that for me. The city's coming back to me to tell me, I'm hoping they'll pay for it because they're so, just so you'll know, and you're welcome to talk to them, I'm sure you will, but they're extremely excited about what we're doing with that because they feel like it'll solve their problem here in town. The bass fishermen are very excited because they're tired of crawling out of town through that canal out through there. So we're solving a lot of problems here. I may need some quick money to put those power poles up. They're actually giving me a quote, and like I say, I'm pushing them to pay for it. Like the city will stay involved, by the way, in funding the fish tournaments, even though we're moving them, because they realize that the hotel stayers and the restaurant users and all will be here in town. So there's no negative there. So basically, that's pretty much it. TWRA is already designing me a phase 2, which has quite a bit more in it. I'll announce to you when the engineer gets back to me. I'll announce to you what that is and when it'll be. So far, we've not spent any county money.
So what you want to place on the agenda is, and for this to go to the budget, is Highway 30, 4 lights and poles. You want to place that on the agenda, is that what you want to do? Then please, as a commission, we'll place that on the agenda, and wrap that, need to go to budget first.
And I haven't told y'all about any of that, so I'm using tonight as an opportunity to tell you. I mean, y'all all know I've been working on it, but that's where we're at, on it. We're at that level.
So TWRA picks up the electric bill at Garrison Motor Ramp and other motor ramps, you may want to have that conversation. We put the bill on setting poles and lights and getting the city of Dayton to help us with that. So the actual light bill itself still goes back to TWRA.
Who helped us out at Garrison? You looked after that. Is that you or?
Yeah, we need to get with the engineer to state. I've got his name.
Okay, well, anyway, that's where we're at on it. I'm very excited. The fishermen in Ray County are excited, and according to her, the citizens that live around the marina over here are very excited. You know, several of them did.
Yeah.
I think this is a very positive thing for our entire county.
Well, you know, we're seeing a decrease in our hotel motel taxes. A lot of it's because we're not having any tournaments in the wintertime. We've seen a drop in that. So that takes all the pressure off of Dave Bodog trying, we can't have a large tournament in the winter until the water comes up.
Since you mentioned that, here's my goal. If I can hurry to get these lights up, we're gonna move the smaller tournaments. We're gonna start out with 100 boats or less. We've got several 50, a couple 75s or one, and a couple hundreds. The vast committee has already said and I talked to Alex Hine to check with the sponsors of them. So we're gonna try to shift those on up there if I can get the lights in quick enough for this year and start it rolling. And if I can get the extra land from TDOT, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, they're talking very positive about joining me on this. If they do, then there's about 2 more acres there that I can clear. And then the lease on the old Smith property, has got some acreage around it that they're talking to me about letting me have TVA. It's pretty promising. Any questions on that?
Jim, have you heard any more about Watchmark, Landry up there? The state park?
Yeah, actually I did. I was in a meeting in Knoxville, and they all come and sit around the table and talk to me about that. They're actually working with the governor and pushing for a state park there.
And I did check on him this past week, and yes, that's what I'm hearing also. So it's just,
Work on him tomorrow.
it's just continuing. That's fantastic.
I've got the guy's card on my desk. He said he knew you.
Yeah, that's something we may actually want to talk to him about tomorrow. We get the opportunity.
Okay, let's see. I want to remind everybody of the ribbon cutting with the governor tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the college. Love for y'all to be there. It'll be a good man. Okay, that's one. One other that I know very little about, but I keep getting a lot of calls on it. And I know I've heard you guys talk about it, and I believe you had this Mr. Lee Booker here to talk to you about a flagpole. Okay, Brock Harris called me. They won't use the veterans BIN number, all that, to get set up for charity, fundraiser, whatever. But I joined him in some caution on this because the cost of it, the flagpole they won't put up at Eagle Drive. The pole is 205 foot high. The flag is 20 by 30. And the cost on that pole installed, which I wouldn't dare install it, a pole that size and a flag of that size would have a tremendous engineering approval on it. But Rob told me the price was $305,000 just to buy the pole and set it. So I'm not getting negative about it. It's just a lot of money that I don't know where we reach and get that money at. But if y'all have an interest in it, I told Brock I'd let him know because they want him to run it through the Veterans Association. You don't know about that, Mark?
You talking about the forest, Veterans Park?
No, this is.
The flag at the high school that Lee Booker's doing.
But who's he wanting to run that through, you said?
American Legion.
Oh, American Legion.
I guess.
Okay.
Is that what Brooke Harris
It was
Brock, I'm sorry.
Lee was in the American Legion last.
So, yeah, then it's the American Legion.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where they're discussing. Well, he just wanted to know if the commission had a will to go forward. He don't want to keep spinning his wheels on it.
Well, what we had asked for originally was, let's put together a thought plan, work with Miss Alex, and let's put together a price. Then, Mr. Booker kind of stepped away from Miss Alex and went out on his own, so we've been kind of taken out of it. Lee has been bringing me updates. Matter of fact, I've got 2 or 3 of them in my portfolio right now. But it's not something that I feel like that the county can take on a $300,000 flagpole. That's why I wanted to get some information together, and it kind of kept growing to the point. And now that I had heard earlier this week they got the American Legion involved in it. They didn't say yes, they didn't say no. They were gathering more information. But we're not in a financial situation to take that on. It would have to be a fundraiser type situation.
That's why I was fixing to say, concrete companies may be willing to chip in and help, because that's your big expense. But we gotta have all that detail.
There's a
We need to break down cost structure, where it is, and what opportunities, and then what type of fundraisers we would have to have to. The engineering.
When this started in my mind, a flagpole that was not $300,000.
Yeah.
You know, just a nice, impressive flagpole in our county, and then now we're trying to get to the point where, not we, but the committee that has been formed is trying to get to the point where it's breaking the state height record. You gotta have FAA approval and all that sort of stuff. Makes it a little weird. That's where we got to that point. So, I think that we need to let them know that we're not in a financial situation for that. If they want to take on a fundraiser project, then that's fine, and they can come to us and ask us to assist them in the process, but we're not in a situation where we're ready to take on a $300,000.
Their plan is that we, as county government, myself, all you, try to talk Graysville and Dayton and Spring City and co-funding this with us. I don't think I want to do that, because I don't think it's fair to ask Graysville to pay for a pole that's up here in Evansville, it's 5 miles out, or more than that probably, out of the city limits of Dayton. It's 5 or 7 miles south of Spring City. I don't see where they get anything out of it, other than just being patriotic for the county.
I feel like that if they want to readjust on what they're spending on the size, and if they want to take on their own financial burden to come up with the funding, then they can always come to us and ask us with hotel, motel, or something like that to assist, but I think that's where we just need to be with it right now. I mean, I'm not speaking for the
I think
commission.
they could look at it, 200 feet, you could look at a different size too, that in itself bring the cost down, I believe. I don't know that it needs to be 200 feet tall.
To put it in perspective, cooling tower was as far as 500 feet. You're talking half as high as that. That's pretty tall. That's pretty tall. So, that is a very tall flagpole.
I haven't thought about the FFA thing.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't either till Lee told me.
Yeah.
Well, he actually told me that you had to have special clearance because of the height of it. And what this all boils down to is to become the tallest flag in the state of Tennessee. Well, you know what happens when you build the tallest flag in New York, don't you? The guy down the street side, I'm gonna get 1 foot taller than that one. So, I mean, I would like to see a nice, impressive flag there. That's where our fair is, that's where our high school is, one of our middle schools is. It's where some of our events take place. I would love to see it there, but I'm not for taking over $300,000 flagpole. Have anything else on that, sir?
Well, just the fact that it's gonna require a transformer, power, city of Dayton, I assume, not DEC, but it's gonna require that, and lighting 24/7, and it's gotta be maintained. And that flag is not little 20 by 30, it's a pretty big flag. I want everybody to have it in their head what they're talking about. I call Brock, hell, and that's all now because of the size and the cost we're on hold with it.
If they want to take it on, then the school system is willing to work with them, it's like the county's willing to work with them, but we need to they need to figure out how they're gonna fundraise for it. Mr. Rouse?
I had two questions. On the light pole, do you know where that money needs to come from?
Well, the proper place would be hotel.
Hotel
Yeah,
motel.
that's what we did before, if I remember correctly.
But we also need to find out about how to get Nick's idea of TWRA to take care of the electrical.
Yeah, so the light bill, we gotta understand who's gonna be paying for that. If I remember correctly, 4 or 5 poles and lights was around $5,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's what hotel motel tax would have to pay for. But we just need to discuss who's gonna be paying the light bill.
And you said you talked to the city of Dayton about who.
I'm gonna ask them if they'll share it with us once they give me a price. I didn't want.
And it is slated to have a courtesy dog. It is in the rotation. That'll come a few days down the road, but it is in the rotation for that.
March, before the end of March, is what they told me, that all the docks will be put in for this phase. Another thought I had about that, I lost it during our discussion.
I got one more topic.
Okay?
We need a roof over finance. So we need to go ahead and get the money appropriated. We have one bid of $22,000. That's probably gonna be our low bid. I have a second at 30. I'm still waiting on a third. But we have the department all tore up down here because ceiling tiles are out, carpet's out.
Because it's dead free, that's there. That tile.
Are they ready to repair it?
I think it can be done fairly quick after,
If
we can get it.
that falls under an emergency situation, that's totally different. That's right. You can't tell me water pouring into the building don't fall in an emergency building.
It's not.
I can't hear you, Tracy, speak up.
Okay, that's okay.
Right?
It is not an emergency because it's something that should have been fixed a long time ago. It's been leaking and it's been, but besides that, we can do it timely if y'all will appropriate the money. We don't have to bid it out because 22 means we're below the formal bid, we just need to get 3 quotes. And we've got 2 of them, we'll get the third this week, and I'm just wondering if we go ahead and put it on the agenda so we can go to work when.
Place it on the agenda to, Phil Swafford building roof repair on the north side of the building?
Is it just a repair, or are they gonna replace that?
They're gonna replace that section.
It's a pretty good sized section, it's probably 30 by 35.
It's short for now.
Putting in new coping, pull the drains and clean them, seal those.
But if we got it approved next Tuesday, we can go to work.
Well, what you really ought to do to make it easier on these guys is go ahead and get you a carpet bid and your ceiling tile, and get it running off once.
Well, now we're out.
What?
They're out of.
That will be out for a while. I mean, I like to get the roof.
Let's get the roof fixed. Put that on the agenda, Ms. Carmen, for next week. And you go ahead and go to work on getting that other stuff, because you're gonna go over when you add into it. You understand what I just said? And you're gonna go over. All right, with that being said, you got anything else to add, Mr. Rouse? We'll put it on here.
No, sir.
Ms. Tracy? Okay. County officials' comments, Ms. Alex wants to speak to you for just a moment. Do I have any other county official wishing to make a comment? Okay, Ms. Alex, thank you.
Hey, so I'm gonna request if we can to host a joint Spring City Commission, Dayton City Council, and County Commission workshop, so that we can talk about fishing tournaments going forward. Just a lot of mixed, I guess, feedback on how to move forward with the hotel motel revenue being down, whether we have as many, and that kind of thing. Just so you know, I've got 19 directors in the past 3 weeks that have reached out wanting to go ahead and book 2027 and a couple for 2028. And so I'm just at a standstill, you know, trying to figure out where financially we're going to move forward, who I need to entertain, and that kind of thing.
Ms. Alex, I will recommend this. Tuesday nights, pretty open for most of us. Is that right? Does anybody have something on Tuesday night in our group? Okay, if you can pick a Tuesday night that's opposite of these 2 nights. And then I think that would help you put together with them if it would work. And let's try to pick a time, because I think you're absolutely right. And these tournaments, when Alex called me the other day, they're like, well, we don't know right now. Well, no, you shouldn't call it and ask to find out 5 hours later. So I think we need to do that in the next 30 days. So you all?
Do y'all have any specific date preferences, or do you want me to just pick a
Send us
date?
the invitation.
Okay, you'll be good.
And we also, since we're gonna have those other 2, we're gonna have 10 other people involved. We could have it in this room. I don't think Jim's conference area is comfortable enough for it, but we can do it in this room if you so choose, or if there's another location you wanna do it at. Brad could check about the EOC, meeting spot, sorry, Evansville.
Another chamber building.
We've got Evansville, we've got the fire department building in Evansville, we've got the high school, our,
Central office.
central office, we've got places we can go, but you figure out a good day and then work out a place that will work where we can all be in.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, did I misspeak any on the flag situation, or is that basically where we're at across the board?
Yeah, it went above what my proposal was,
Okay, all right.
so I'm out of the loop.
All right, commissioner comments.
Me first?
You first.
I got 2 parts, I'll save the second part for next week. Tonight, I'd like to say thanks to Rick Wilkie, Brad, and your leadership, everybody that helped during the storms. Let me tell you, that was a weekend, well, more than a weekend, but I'm telling you, they worked their butts off. TDOT, Forestry Department, all the entities were very involved in that. I appreciate everything they've done. Thank you all.
Sure you don't want to get that other party?
No, I'm gonna wait till next week.
Okay, Mr. J.
No, sir.
Mr. Nick.
Yeah, Echo, I know Mountain, all up and down Walden Trees was really, really bad. There's a lot of people spend a lot of time out there, county employees, city employees, Spring City, Graysville, everybody, so thank you. Hey, I do want to follow up on something. So it's been a while since we've had an update from our cable company providers as to where they are on servicing, our customers that don't have the ability to have internet. I would like for them to come back March, maybe into the workshop, if it's okay, if the commission's okay with that, and let them tell us where they are, what their plans are, and where we're at as far as unserved customers. And then we need to start looking at grants or other things, or what else is going on from the state level, because we did get grants before. We narrowed the gap, we improved our service in our county significantly, made a big improvement, but it's not done. There's still a lot of customers out there, a lot of folks that don't have internet access. So I just think it's time to bring that group back in that came in, that gave us presentations before, told us what their plans were. Just like to know what they accomplished and what kind of gap we still have.
We are sold out, so.
Well, but that's another thing, see, it's all changed. So we've had buyouts take place. What did they agree to, what did they finish? I think we owe it to the county to drive that again and see where we're at and what can be done. And then start looking for grants, see if there's anything we can do to help. They may know of stuff that we could apply for that would enable them to be able to go out and still extend the network and get it to more folks.
Ms. Carver, can you help us with that, please? Anything else, Mr. Nick?
That's all we got.
Billy?
Thank you all, I appreciate everything you all done too, I mean, it was so fast too. Y'all cut trees, cleared roads, and I know you had a tremendous amount of work, we appreciate it.
Ms. Emily? Ms. Sandy? Mr. Leo?
Yeah, I just, like to say thank you for all the help that these guys did and ladies, because we could have had a whole lot worse. We could have been a whole lot worse shape. Thank the Lord, it wasn't as bad as what they anticipated originally.
Originally predicted, yeah.
Yep, so it was bleak, I'm telling you. But, so I'm glad of that, but, also, I need to ask Mr. Benson a question.
Where we on our convenience center right there,
I'm not sure what you're asking me. I don't have anything in the works for it.
you don't have nothing?
If you remember, a month ago, Carol Ann said she was gonna meet with Bobby and talk to him about visiting with someone that could advise him on the fact that the convenience center had contaminants and stuff in it. And for us not to talk to him anymore, remember? So I just was waiting to hear from her or somebody on that report. But I guess I can check with her.
Well, I don't quite remember that she said how that.
We definitely had that conversation.
No. Well, we definitely need to step forward back into it. It's probably not gonna go away. And Ms. Banner will be back next week, so we can get an interpretation of where we was at. Because when we was working on this before, we had contacted the state, we talked with, and we had gone down different routes, and we was to the point of, with Bobby, and then when it went back over to you, then that's when Ms. Barron had talked about the part of the, contaminants and the leaks and the possibilities of that, correct?
Yeah, the liabilities.
The liabilities, okay. You know, and I understand that everybody needs to have representation, but we just can't sit and wait. We got to figure out what our next step is there.
The process will be, once we get a location, is we're gonna have to file for permits on all of it, which we can do pretty quick, but it'll take a few weeks. But it's been, I mean, I'm good, whatever.
Well,
Yeah, we need to move forward.
Yeah, because I know that me and Jacob have met with Bobby before, he's more than willing to do whatever he needs to do to get it done. As far as on his end, is that not what he said?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, so we just need to, we need to set up a meeting with Bobby and get this, you know, get it rolling, that big island group. You know,
And Carol Ann will tell us it's okay to do that, because she instructed us, for me, or y'all not to talk to him anymore. But she felt like he was under pressure. Y'all remember that conversation with her?
I do know that the time that you were talking about when it was being discussed, and, if he wishes to have, representation, then fine, in that, but we don't need to just, it don't just need to go away. We still have a problem that we gotta figure out, or we've gotta tell that community what's gonna happen. So, I mean, it's still a viable point. All right, anything else, Mr. Williams?
don't forget,
All right, Mr. Phillips?
I'd like to thank Rick and his crew, Brad and his crew, they did an amazing job, I appreciate it, and Brad, the things that we talked about, the generators and stuff, Brad took this and really looked at it and identified things that he needed to plan for the future, and I appreciate that, Brad. To piggyback off what Commissioner Welch said, of course, Spring City's not in it anymore, but there was a date that's long since passed, I believe it was October, that they were supposed to be here, and neither company showed up to give us an update. Of course, you know, like I said, it's one.
And with that being said, there also was a second round or a third round of grants.
Yes.
Because when they realized the first round of grants that they could apply for, because the paperwork was not on our part, but the maps they used to set the grants did not do the justice to their system, and it was they being the government's grants, not Ray County government, not the cable companies or internet companies, but what the government used to determine the loss of, or the non-ability to have internet. But there was another round of grants that was there also, so we'll leave an update on that.
I think there's some coming up sometime in '26.
And that's all. If we don't understand and get good clarity on what we need to do for our part, that's what I want to make sure is we're not missing an opportunity that we could have gotten better internet service for the community. So they need to come in, tell us where they are, what's going on, we've had buyouts since they've been here and presented, and what the plan is, and then what is out there available that we can go apply for.
And the day has changed, because Spring City won't never come since they've been bought out.
Right, oh, yeah, and Spectrum may not be aware they're supposed to come nowadays, so you have to reach out to them.
And there's still a dangling chat out there that worries me. I'm not sure whether they got all their money or not. I've called and they told me they'll check, I've checked with the state, nobody can give me a clear answer on it. But the thing that worries me is Spring City had a list of roads that they had not done that was in the contract.
Yes.
And I presented them with those, and I said, I want them done before we close this grant out and everybody's paid. Well, Spectrum tells me, that they completed it, but yet I hear from Philip and different ones about roads up there that was on that list that have not been completed. How's that progressed?
It wasn't completed either by ETC.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some in both ends that are not.
Allow me to add a little bit of information on Spring City then. They bought Spring City's right to the area. They didn't use any of Spring City stuff. They put all new stuff in themselves. So they bought their name, not their name, they bought their rights, but it's my understanding that they put their own wire and cable in them, and that they didn't use what was there because they had people running around in that city and in that community for months full of brand new fiber. They didn't use what Spring City had put in because it's a total different type of system.
Now, the people that I had talked to you repeatedly on 302, those houses have been taken care of.
So that's part of that list I fussed out on that.
But, you know, the ones I was telling y'all about, we've got a guy on Smyrna Road that they came from 302 and they came from 20, and they stopped. And neither, he can't, he's went with Starlink, he can't get it from anybody.
And plus, I have places that they have no internet whatsoever. Spectrum won't run it, Flattop County won't run it, Verizon won't run it out there. Nobody will get it running all out there in the middle of Oak Hill.
See, I'm not so sure what they did coming into our county and buying a utility provider. I'm not so sure they can do that without our approval. I've had a couple pretty pushback type meetings, and just so you guys know, I have never signed their contract. They keep pushing me to it, and I said, when you give me a list of proof that you've done everything that Spring City, in other words, I told them, I don't want to see your list, I want you to go back to the grant application and get the list of people you were supposed to serve. When you prove to me you've served them, I'll sign your contract. So I've had a little, Carmen can tell you, a little bit of pushback and forth with them, trying to force them to give us as much as we can get for our dollars. I've done the same thing with Bledsoe, and when I do, they tend to come out and do some little, project. So I don't really know how I can prove. I've called the state. I've asked them if they can come in and audit both the companies, and they've told me that they will check with them and verify that they've met their contract with us. But then when I call them back, they haven't done it, or they forgot it, or I don't know, I can't think.
Well, but Ms. Carmen, they provided us, and it was based on the census report of what roads and what areas didn't have coverage. And then when they entered into the contract with us, it was to go service those roads that was identified based on that report. We learned that if you didn't say you didn't fill out the census report, you didn't get your name. Well, that's still the gap that's in our county. Anybody that didn't fill out the census report didn't have their road identified, that they didn't have service.
They definitely learned how important the census was.
Exactly.
Now, next time we need to use the BTC and Spectrum's customer list for our census, we might.
It might be better, but again, it's just, they need to come back, because there was a defined list of roads that they were supposed to serve. And they should be able to have documentation that they've met their contract and obligation. And then tell us, they should know, and I'm sure they know, what areas are not served, and
what plans they have, or what help do they need, or what grants are out there that we could go after.
Mr. Chairman, too, with that said, they specifically said unserved, that was their word,
That is.
unserved was their priority. And then
We're gonna take care of the unserved first, then the underserved, and then the people who want to change.
Right,
Yes.
right, that's what they specifically.
And that's the way it was set up from the government to start with.
Yes. They never got to all three of them.
Now, all right, anything else? Seeing none, I have an announcement to make. Our Secretary of State, Trey Hargett, will be here on March the 10th for a presentation here at the Ray County Commission workshop, so please keep that in mind. Please try to be here. With that being said, workshop will stand adjourned. I don't know yet, I will speak to him, that GMQ, I switch over there, guys. Thank you.